Hello, class. My name is Rakaya Smith, and today I will be talking about identifying and combating human trafficking here in Miami-Dade. Human trafficking is today's form of modern-day slavery. It is the forcing of women, men, and children into sex trafficking, forced labor, and debt bondage. Miami does not just experience sex trafficking, it experiences each of these forms of trafficking and is prominent in our community. Although people do not like to admit it, human trafficking does occur here in the United States. It is not something that just happens in foreign countries. Identifying victims of human trafficking can be difficult. Victims are often identified through hotlines. Many physicians and other community members are becoming more educated on the warning signs that victims often give. People who feel that they have come in contact with victims can call a hotline to inform the police. Victims themselves can also call the hotlines in order to seek help. Also, within the Miami-Dade Police Department, they do conduct undercover operations and raids in order to identify human trafficking victims. Victims of human trafficking are very skittish of the police. They don't like to be asked too many questions and keep their comments very short. So, for example, physicians come in contact with victims of human trafficking a lot, and a lot of them do not realize that. They just kind of assume that there may be some problems at home, but aren't exactly sure, and a lot of them never really follow up on those suspicions. The state of Florida is ranked number 3 in the world for human trafficking. There are many victims that live right here in Miami. 40% of victims are under the age of 18. 60% of victims range in age from 18 to 23. In 2012, the Human Trafficking Unit was created. This unit focuses solely on helping victims of human trafficking and ending human trafficking in Miami. They are the experts on how human trafficking happens in Miami, the locations that are human trafficking victims are mostly found. In 2016, Miami held the second annual Survivors Voice Conference. This allowed victims of human trafficking to speak out about what has happened to them, to educate the community and law enforcement on what happened, how they became victims, if they were lured in, if they were kidnapped, if they were runaways and they found solace with a guy or even a female. It also allows victims to connect with resources in the community, such as shelters and counseling. The Women's Fund is an organization within our community that raises awareness and helps combat human trafficking. They host many events in order to educate the public. They also connect the victims to community resources. Another community resource are the hotlines. There are hotlines that victims can call in order to seek help. Also in Miami, there are shelters. These are shelters that victims can go to when they are leaving unsafe environments. Safe Place is a shelter that welcomes both women and their children when they are leaving unsafe environments. They have 2 different locations, one in North Miami and one in South Miami. There are also counseling services that are available to victims of human trafficking. When a victim calls a hotline or shows up to a shelter, they are giving access to these resources, phone numbers to call, people to contact, ways to help those victims feel safe and secure in their decision of leaving and seeking help. We as students can make a difference by volunteering. The Women's Fund in Miami is always looking for volunteers to help them with their events or even just answering phones in their office, answering questions. You can also volunteer or attend events at this safe space locations. They're always putting on fundraisers in order to help the women and children that are in their care with food, clothing, and also connecting them to resources to when they're ready to get out on their own and to leave the shelters. Thank you.